Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Sabastain Green, the spiritual jewellery maker and psychic medium. And on this week's vlog we'll be making some beautiful paper roses out of bits of card left over from old projects. The card I'm using today is actually some left over from my jewellery packaging from last week. If you would like to make some beautiful roses, all you need is 9 different sized circles made of card, a pot of glue, a pair of scissors and some tweezers. Okay, let's begin. So I'm just using some sellotape that I have around the house to create a circle on my card. So I'm just cutting around the circle, and as I'm going round I'm just making some little bumps to start the detailing of each petal. It's one of the little ways we can add detail to every single petal. The best technique I've found is leaving an inch all the way around as I'm cutting. I always chop the end off, I just round it off a little bit, make it nice and neat. So all you need now is a pair of tweezers. Grab hold of the little end of the paper that you've just rounded off and start wrapping the paper around in a circle. Once the paper has been spiralled around, it'll start taking shape quite quickly. While spiralling the paper, make sure that the bottom stays in the same place. So I'm going to be using this glue from Hobbycraft. It's around about £1. Do shop around because they are quite expensive. The little bottle of glue does come sealed, so you have to unscrew the cap and remove the seal. One of the best features of this glue that I'm using today in this tutorial is that it dries clear, so I'm quite aggressive when I apply it. I put it everywhere to make sure that when I've finished it doesn't move. I think we've all been there when we're creating something or crafting something and it keeps falling apart, so this is just my little way of making sure that doesn't happen. I found that making sure that this glue stood up on its head, I suppose, make sure it's popped inside its lid, the glue then stays at the bottom, so as soon as you squeeze it comes out really quickly. Creating these 3-tier roses do require 3 mini roses put inside each other. So what I'm doing now is just simply allowing space inside so that I can glue it in and then attach the rest of the roses and then sit them on top of each other. It makes a really beautiful rose, and I often use multicoloured card just to give it that added effect. It only takes a couple of seconds for the glue to dry, and once it's dried, it's ready to be attached to the larger petals. And as you can see, I'm being extra aggressive with the glue, but it does help keep things together for a long time. I've actually edited all the times I've held the roses in place to help them dry, so it seems like it's only taking a couple of seconds, but actually I'm holding it in for maybe a minute, 60 seconds, no more than that. And what that does, it just gives the glue time to set. Depends what you're using. If you're using the glue that I'm using, then it will take about a minute. If you're using hot glue, obviously that's instant. All just depends on what you're wanting to use. I'm going to be using this piece of card to create the base of my rose. Before I start using my scissors, I want to make sure that I'm leaving at least an inch in each side of the paper so that I can add some decorative flair to each flower petal. So I'm just cutting around each petal to give it a bit of detail. I'm just using a simple pair of tweezers to wrap the paper all the way around to create a spiral. You can already see the flower taking shape. Put glue in the centre and ring all the way around the bottom so that there's plenty of glue, and then when you rest your fingers on top of the flower petals, it will then form a nice seal. Being me, I'm also adding glue all around the petals as well in each spiral to give it more structure. So that's 2 of the flowers that we've made today for our tutorial. We've got 1 to go. This glue does dry clear, so it's absolutely fine to put plenty on. And here we are. So these are the 3 amazing paper roses that we've just made during the tutorial. What we're going to do next is repeat the same process on tiny little roses, and then we're going to add them all together and put them on a frame. I do have some card left over from last week, so I'm going to make the little tiny flowers out of the card that I've got left over, because I love to recycle. I'm using the exact same technique as what we've just learned in the previous tutorials. So I'm just going to use some magic here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, magic! So the same technique as before, I'm using a pair of tweezers. I'm wrapping the card all the way around it until I get a little tiny flower shape. I am very curious if I pull it really tight if it will actually snap, but the card seems to be very resistant, so maybe it's just the science of it all. As I'm unravelling it, it's becoming more and more apparent that this is a beautiful little rose. Once this is done, I'm going to start working on the detailing of all the petals. I'm just using a simple pair of scissors to go in and out of the card to create some lovely petal shapes. I'm using a pair of tweezers just to reform the shape, and once that's done, I'm going to apply some glue. So I've got a little bit of magic left over. So 1, 2, 3, and there we go. Oh no, I've got a little bit more. Ah, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. So here are all the roses that we've made today in this tutorial. You can make big ones and you can make little ones, and maybe one day I'll make giant ones. But for now, I'm going to attach these ones to a frame I have of me and my Nan, the last photo we ever had together before she sadly passed away. Because I'm gluing onto glass, I am just going to rest it down for a bit just to help it dry. But thank you ever so much. I do hope you've enjoyed this, the last of the demonstrations on papercraft. Whether I do any more in the future, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to be moving into some different areas now, into spiritualism, and maybe look at some philosophy for now. I would like to thank everyone who has watched this video and for liking and sharing it, and also subscribing to my channel for future content. And finally, remember, none of us are truly alone, for our friends and family live on in the realm of spirit. And finally, angels guide our every step. Thank you very much, and goodbye for now.